Yeah, you know what?
I mean,
We have good roads there.
Well, that's what we were working on, we were up there.
I know. We took a tour bus and, we sat in the middle and we were still bouncing all over the place. She knew
They're an
exactly where
investment
all
company,
the
they are
big potholes.
Yeah.
Bumps were. She'd go 2, 3, 1, and then everyone would fly.
Right in the middle.
Yeah.
Another problem with that, you can't get her, you know, they set one on night here with, Sawyer.
And then calling on that one, or calls on CPAP or whatever, because.
You're gonna be okay? We'll give you that one.
He doesn't wanna sit there.
I guess not.
This way I can see everybody. I want to look around.
No.
Showered up this
No,
morning.
you wanna know what? See what you guys want?
We have a Michael Wheeler, who's one of our surgeons.
No, we can just like an interest.
I'm in.
Michael Anderson is patrol
We got
them.
most of the ties done. First lady, you're right, Blackness first.
There was, is this,
Pretty good.
yeah.
Yeah.
Since June of last
We'll see.
year. Yeah, but he's a reserve now.
Is he?
Yeah, he's not part-time.
Oh, okay.
That might be.
Baron, Nicholas was there, I know.
That might be.
I didn't think about that.
You want to be on something. They should, but what the heck.
Go around them. Yeah.
Okay.
I see that they got. They know exactly, same company, causes, yeah. Because, my wife said, John, yeah, John, oh, John, and Baron one day.
Yeah.
Well, he used to work for Holden, yeah, and then, we graduated from Scott, Copenhagen, he said, oh, I see you over here yesterday. I said, they probably work at both jobs.
Do you have a kid, like, is there, okay,
Thinking of someone from dispatch,
okay, after this meeting, would you pop down to Ashley Goodis's office?
yeah,
It's just,
She'll be able to do an interview.
Monica's the controlling factor now.
okay, thank you.
When they get the state contracts, state contracts.
Do I have to get my committees okay?
First, yeah. And then the engineer was
Probably
on.
should at least talk
Was
about
that,
it.
Monarch is the.
Oh, it's not really on here,
They're ones that, so their priorities to get asphalt down to the street.
Okay.
And when they get breaks, and then they come on back.
Rabbits or tomatoes? Oh. I must have 15 minutes.
So Miranda.
This county right now.
Somebody said,
Yeah,
"Sure,
it's
one
not
more
seen
that
That
would
would
eat."
eat, yeah.
Disappears in the tall grass.
No more here, no, right? I think they got
Not that good of a shot.
Okay.
Yeah, they're doing some work on it.
Big scattergun.
Well, he showed some interest and I need someone with me.
What do you need one of these, Terry? Everybody else get one?
So he already has like
It's 8 o'clock, these clocks are getting further and further off. It's 8 o'clock, so I'll call the meeting to order. First thing on the agenda is approval of the June 14th meeting, joint meeting with property, and then also the July 11th minutes. Okay. Motion's been made and seconded to approve the minutes of June 14th, the joint meeting with property, and then also of the July 11th meeting. Any further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carried. Public comment. Any public comment? Any public comment? Any public comment? Public comment is closed. Okay, emergency management, the reports.
All right, we're still working on with Code Red to get our river flooding groups back in, that weren't added. National Night Out was good outreach, there were a lot of people there, we had a big show there, I had 2 ambulances, doing tours and demonstrations inside. They hope next year that the sheriff's department will run the K-9 thing first, and then let everybody else have a chance, cause nobody competes against the dog show, so. But it went well, I mean, kids enjoyed it, everybody enjoyed it. Working with, Excel on an action plan, they're gonna be doing some work on the Big Falls Dam this fall. Actually on the, approach on the southwest side. They're gonna be digging out a bunch of the dirt in the bank and replacing it.
Stuff that's been forming holes recently.
Yeah, that was on the other
Decade or
side,
so.
yeah, that was on the other side of the bridge, now this side's given, but then they think it's the same problem. I think that the old railroad bridge poles are finally rotting and they're starting to get sinkholes in there, so they'll take it all out, pour concrete pillars in there and fill it back in again, so. Been working with them a little bit on that. On the ambulance side, we had a recall fixed on the Sheldon ambulance, it was down in Chippewa anyway, getting the front end alignment, so they fixed the recall. The recall was an oil pressure issue that was computer controlled, so they were able to fix it fairly quickly. 252 over in Hawkins is in service more this month. We've got a first responder riding with one of our EMTs over there, and they've actually been in service for about 4 days straight here, 24 hours a day, so that hasn't happened for a while. 251 and 253, no current issues with the trucks, but the same recall that 254 had, 251 has to go down for. And it's an oil pressure problem if you leave the truck idle too long. In most cases, when we have it idle, they step on the parking brake, which makes it idle faster, because otherwise the lights will shut off on them. They won't charge enough to keep everything running, so we haven't had the problem with it, but I guess other places have. So, in our new rig, of course, it passed the inspection. We had a few things we had to fix. One was the equipment we had inside that we couldn't get, we finally got. And the other one is a reflective stripe that has to go all the way around the bottom of the truck. It did not come with that, so 94 Services, who we bought the truck for, is putting that in. Berg is gonna take care of it as soon as he gets the materials. It's just a 4-inch reflective tape, goes all the way from the front around the back to the other side, to the front fender. So they're gonna add that, and probably in the spring before we get our other rigs inspected, 254 and 251 also don't have that. When they went to the band type, they took it off for some reason. I didn't know it was necessary because none of the other inspectors had anything, ever said anything about it, but this guy said fix it, so he didn't take us off the road, but we do have to get it fixed. Completed CPR and AED for the Bruce School coaches. I did 2 groups, one last Thursday and one last night. So they're complete. Been working on that resolution for the wages that goes to the county board next Monday. We got about 16 hours left in our EMR class going on here in town. So we have 7 in there. They're actually doing ride-alongs with the ambulance now. Having them ride along for 4 hours so they get a feel of what actually happens in the field compared to what they're learning in class. And they're really enjoying that. I think we got a couple of them hooked. One already signed up for fire medic out of CVTC for the fall. So that's a good thing. We're gonna have 2 or 3 EMT students enrolled this fall, or they are enrolled this fall. And we have 4 on the list for our next EMR class here in the county, so that's going well. I'm gonna be gone to the WEMA conference, September 24th to the 26th. Did I put that on the agenda this time?
It's in your packet.
Yeah, so it's the training request, so we'll get that on our training request, and the meetings are listed there. So that's what we have. I did have another recall. I had to stop over to Bruce today, the fire extinguisher that the company sent with the ambulance got recalled. So I had to go take a look at, take pictures of that to make sure which one we had. Really? Now they recall fire extinguishers. So I'd like to pop the pin out of it and shoot it off on the grass and say, well, good shot, what's wrong with it, you know, but whatever, they said they sent us a new one if we hit on this, so. That's what I got.
That's it?
That's it. Work. All right.
Any possibility that for Leaflet to Rusk, that the new ambulance would be out to Christie Mountain for 1 day for the chairlift sites?
There's a very good chance of that if you email me the date and time.
Okay, it doesn't matter, we're gonna be there Friday, Saturday, and
They
Sunday
might
this
show up a
year,
couple days,
so.
so, yeah.
if
They
they-
have in the past, haven't they?
Yes, they
Yeah.
have.
Yeah,
But
we'll
it'd be
get-
great to show the new one
Mhm.
if possible, and if you've got enough volunteers, but we
Yeah.
understand that last year, I think they had to take off because they didn't have a call.
Yep, and it'll be
But
that
that's-
way again,
yeah.
that they're still on the clock, so if we get a 911 call, that takes precedence. over
Right,
that. Yeah,
but if that's a
we'll get-
possibility.
We'll get them up there. That's nice to show off the new stuff, yeah. We had 3 ambulances at National Night Out for a while, and then the first out here in Ladysmith got called, so they took out, but we still had the other two there to, kids to do tours and stuff through them. They had a little game set up for them. Like I said, it's tough to compete against the canine, and the dogs out there biting somebody, kids like to watch that.
Okay, anything else? Okay, payment of the bills,
We need a motion to approve this training.
training.
Second.
Okay, motion made, second, approve the training. Which one is that?
It's the Emergency Management Association Conference in Stevens Point.
Okay, there's not a,
I
not a
didn't fill
travel,
one of
okay,
those out for him.
okay. Okay, to approve the training request, any further discussion? Motion made, second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, motion carries.
That's what I'm supposed to do, Miranda, is that other paperwork?
Yes, but I can do it for you if you send me all your information.
Okay.
And it
Well, have
will
it for
cost you a coffee.
Okay. I'm all for that. I'll bribe you.
Okay, the next thing is payment of the bills, approved write-offs. I guess the first thing is payment of the bills, seeing the bills, I'll entertain a motion to approve the bills.
Second.
Any questions on them?
EMR books must be getting expensive.
That was, 8 cents, yeah. So, they weren't cheap. That was CPR and, class book, yeah. And the CPR books I collected back after CPR because I was out. I borrow them out to people and sometimes I don't get them back. So, now I got a little list I gotta sign off when I take them, so hopefully I can get them back.
The LifeQuest stuff, are they catching up on billings or staying current?
They're up to the end of May according to this.
Right.
Yep, so they're that far along.
Is this cleaning up the old stuff yet?
Oh, yeah, a lot of old stuff. That's what a couple of the write-offs, that's next.
Oh, okay,
A couple of them I wanna talk about.
okay. Okay,
They're doing better, they're gonna pay rental on the house, so.
Yeah, well, when you forget for a couple months, yeah. And Brittany told me, hey, you haven't done one of them for a while. Well, I hadn't done one since last April. I just put in 12 of them and then, yeah, we both had reminders that we forgot, so.
okay, motion to approve bills. Seconded. Those all in favor?
Aye.
On that, okay. Okay, right off.
All right, LifeQuest had 2 requests. One was for one bill that was $250 that's left on the bill. 1,012 or something was paid on the bill. It's from 2016, it's in the collection state. Where it's at right now, even if we get any money out of that, it's gonna be almost nothing. And they wanna know if we were better off to just write it off and not have them chase it anymore from 2016. So that's one. The other one is a VA bill. It went to the VA, they paid part of it. The rest of it came back to the estate, which there was none. The gentleman died, and his sister took care of paying for the funeral and everything, cause he didn't have any money. So now they're asking for this, I think the number's 125, sticks in my head. The company keeps asking them for it, and there's no estate. She said, you know what, I paid for his funeral, I'm not paying his bills. I said, that's right, fine, I'll come to the committee and see if we can write that off. That one also was about $1,400, and the VA paid the rest of it. But they're like Medicare, they say, okay, we're gonna pay $1,000, but the patient has to pay $200. That's the way Medicare is. Well, then we can only charge that person that $200 that Medicare tells us we can, and VA follows that rule. So they must have told us that we had to charge him $125. Well, there's no money, so how you gonna get it? You can chase that forever and you're never gonna get it, so I would just like to write those 2 off.
The motion to close out.
Second.
Okay, motion's made and seconded to write off, what,
It's about $375.
$5, okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no, motion carried. Budget review.
your first?
Yeah,
Alright,
that's,
I don't know, I had Miranda look, and I hadn't noticed this before, but what they have in here for my budget is $709,000, that's the levy portion of the budget, that's not my budget. My budget's over $1 million. Actually, it's close to $1.4 million. The rest comes from what we bill patients, that's not in here anywhere. So it says that there's only 70,000 left in all of my budgets, but the ambulance budget is not in that bad a shape. It's not only 61,000 here in August, there's hundreds of thousands that are billed out there that, and I don't know what that amount is, because it never gets put on this thing, but I'm gonna ask that it gets put on here. Cause we never know what the actual collections are. We know what they build and what we write off. That's what comes on my budget, not what's collected. Jamie has that, cause she has to, whatever she does with it, to make it match, reconcile it every month. So she has those numbers, so I'm just gonna ask that that gets put on here, so we actually have a real number, because this is all paper money, it's not really what's out there, so. So it's not that bad. The ambulance grant, we're, got 6,000 more than we're supposed to already. LEPC grant is sitting there because I'm waiting for the computer, to get approved. And the emergency government, I'm gonna be a little behind on that one this time because it's the way it went this year. So with paying for the, code red and stuff out of there, it's taking some out of the budget. So I think all the insurance is already paid for the year out of it. They take that out right away, I think they do. But yeah, so we'll see what it looks like next month. Not much I can do about it. The only thing that comes out of the emergency government is my wage. So most of that's grant funded.
okay.
And again, this is only showing the levy portion.
Yeah.
The grant portion of 30,000 is on top of that, we haven't got that yet, so. They don't show that on here.
I've seen that a lot, and all of a sudden, we've got the proposal and the final amount on here, but it hasn't happened yet, so.
That's just wages.
Just on the wages, they put that in there, the rest
Okay.
isn't in there, yeah. And I saw that too, and the things marked with red, and you won't see these on your copies, but online, you go a little bit further, Miranda,
You bet.
up to the wages. So the ones with the red flags on them, they're under, the request, is what she added to get the wage up to what the resolution asked for. So she had to add the 40,000 there, and she had to add some into the first responder side. I can't read that far, but 10,000, I think it says in the EMR side, yeah. So she took, Jamie took care of that, filled out all that wage proposal side, and then she sent this back to me yesterday, so I gave it to Miranda. So that's the part that's filled out. And at the bottom line, we're trying to stay with that same 709,000 on the levy. And in order to make that, we'll have to take some of the money out of our, what's it called, non-expiring, whatever. Carry forward funds, which is fine, it keeps the levy at that 709,000 then, which it's been for 4 or 5 years.
How much do we have in carry forward right now?
You can scroll down, Miranda, down toward the bottom, it should have it listed on here in parentheses, a little more right there. Well, 1/1, we had 883,000 in there. At the end of this year,
You said?
huh?
183?
883,000. And, we're gonna have to use some of that this year, she's got the 132,000 up there in parentheses, that's gonna come out of that. But she anticipates it's gonna be 904,000 at the end of the year. Down to 831 at the end of next year, using 73,000 to balance the budget at the 709,673. And that's what we've done with that leftover money, is trying to keep that. We've been that way, I think, since 2020, we've been at that amount for the levy.
So it would seem you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, on that, you know, and the idea was that it's in my capital improvement plan in a couple of years to build a building for EMS. Yeah, there's been different things we've looked at, you know, through the years. Cause we need another building. Right now we're sharing with RCTC. That's working out pretty good right now, but we haven't hit the winter yet. See how that goes. We got 3 or 4 broken down buses. It's gonna get pretty crowded in there.
So is the budget still based on all 4 ambulances operating full-time?
Yeah. The wage part, I base it on 3 part-time, well, on-call, per-call ambulances if they were in service 24 hours a day. Well, they're not. So that's always a little bit of cushion there on the wages side, because if they don't get somebody 24 hours a day, that money's still there. But if I have to pay 2, which we do, if we only have 2 ambulances, the Ladysmith ambulance is full-time and Sheldon comes and sits here in the middle, well, then they're getting paid straight wage too, so it uses up some of that, so I budget a certain amount for that, and then if it goes over, I got that other money to use.
So there was one benefit to Hawkins closing. We got a new EMT full-time that's filled a lot of holes in it.
Yes, we did.
Not for the other hundreds of people that got laid off, but.
Right. Yeah, we actually got, all 3 of our new EMRs from Hawkins worked at Gentleman. So 2 of them are active, the other one has got a new job with the postal service, and his head's in a whirl because he's working 6 days a week over there, so he hasn't engaged yet on the first responder side, but the other 2 have, so that's good. And one's riding on the ambulance, and she's loving it. She's one of the 3 we have signed up for the EMT class. Her, Wendell Risser, who lives down in 27, just north of the county line, he's been an EMR for 3-4 years, now he's signed up for the EMT program, and then we have another new gal that's going, so, 1 new one, 2 that are already first responders. So, that's all good stuff. And we actually have people from outside calling and applying for our positions, so now wanting to get on part-time and stuff to get their foot in the door, so that's a good thing too. I got 3 right now, I'm waiting for our rework screen. As soon as they get done, then we can put them out there too. That are, and, Tommy Rock from just in Chippewa County, who first responds for us, and, Cornell, he just got his EMT license yesterday, so he's gonna start working some too. So, when he has time, he just had twins. His wife just had twins last week, so I told him to rein himself in a little bit, he's gonna be a little
Boys,
busy.
girls, on each?
One of each.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so, and he actually took his National Registry written test in the training room of the NICU at Marshfield. His wife had the baby, he said, I'm sitting around there all sleeping, he said, I'm bored out of my gourd, so he said, I can take it here, so he went in and took the test. That's Tommy.
That's Tommy.
You're gonna get her done, so, yep. So he'll be good too. I think he'll be working more with Holcomb, because Cornell's trying to put more of a full-time, part-time ambulance in Holcomb, which will help down there. So that's that one. Can you click on the 252 at the bottom there? That's the ambulance grant, which we get, I'm anticipating the same as last year, 65, which is based on the number of EMTs and first responders we have, the number of square miles we cover, our population, and some other really cool numbers, but that's all grant money. And you can see part of it's for training, part of it's for equipment. So, and you can use it all for training, so I usually pay for our EMTs to go to class, the first ones with that. So I make sure I use it up. The 253 budget is the LAPC, the Local Emergency Planning Committee, budget. That's their operating budget. So ours is going up. I got the thing the other day, so I changed it. It's going up to 6917 for 25. And it's a little money for an exercise, and then the rest gets transferred to emergency government for the planning part of it, which goes into my wage line. So, and that's the, click on that one, man, 254. That's our equipment grant for the LAPC. We get a computer about every year. This year was the first year of 4 years, and I could apply for $6,000, which is what I did. I don't know that we got it yet. They toned it down. I applied for $6,000. I think they granted me $3,500, but it's still going through the process. We're gonna buy a new card printer for IT. for printing ID badges, so I bought the last one with this grant, because we can use it for credentialing, so if we had a big event, we can make, you know, special cards for people and stuff. I use it, I have cards on my first responder kits, now I have cards on, I just had them make me a student one the other day, so when somebody's riding with the ambulance, they have a different colored tag on, so if they go in the ER, people know that's a student, because on a few occasions, the doctors don't know, so they start asking them questions about the patient, they're like, I don't know nothing, I'm just riding along, so at least they're identified. And I brought it up at our department head meeting again for Ashley, that people that visit this building should stop at the clerk's office and get a tag and hang it around their neck, and it should be bright orange or bright yellow or something, so that anybody that sees them walking around knows that they're a visitor, that they don't work here. So, so we're working on that stuff. And then 255 is the emergency management budget. That, the grant went down from 31,800 to 29,230. They took 10% off because the feds took 10% off the state's grant for EMPG. That's our planning grant. So that's all the 13 plans I have to make up for the county, which I just finished yesterday. Started getting signatures on those, and the farm planning and disaster management stuff. So that's what that is. That's, as you can see, I'm asking for more money than before. 17,000 more, it looks like 17,500 out of the levy. You see my target down there was 49,500 and it's 56,800. It's all wages. I mean, that's what that budget, well, there's some office supplies and stuff like that, but it doesn't amount to much. Can you scroll up just a little bit, Miranda? The 5,000 is the code red, our emergency notification system. And then travel and training is required by the grant. So that's why that $2,000 is in there. There's two, like the WEMA conference, there's a WEMA conference and then there's the governor's conference in the fall. We're required to go to those. So we have to put part of the grant money in there for that, so that pays for that. We can actually go to a different conference also, with like the Red Cross Under One Roof conference in Duluth last year was $350 per person. And I paid $200 to go to the WEMA conference, so it's cheaper to go where I've been going, if I can, you know, if you work it out. If something happens, I can't go because of a storm or something, then I just do something else. So that's what my proposals were. I mean, looking at it, I don't know, that one I don't know what you changed to change anything to make it go down.
Was that one where you had 18,000 and then nothing since 2023?
Where are you at?
I don't know, was
Was it higher?
I think it was lower, wherever you were before.
In that one?
Yeah, right there.
This is revenues, so.
That was, ARPA money.
Okay,
Yeah, we got that one time.
okay. So SBITA is now ARPA.
Well, no, that was, it's, what the hell did that stand for? FEMA, or the feds gave the state extra money. That was just 1 year.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Cause that's about where your increase is.
Yeah, and if you looked at falsely, in theory, lowered what our levy looked like. 'Cause it took care of some of the levy side. It's not necessarily supposed to happen that way, but when I'm the only guy in the, it's not like I paid extra wages that you can put it in there, so. For somebody else. So that's what I propose that goes to the county board, and I, like Ashley said yesterday at our department head meeting, you know, some of the budgets look kinda bad, but mine, percentage wise,
Not that big of a change, right?
not pretty good, percentage wise. And what's that, Miranda? Yeah.
Okay, any other comments or questions on the 2025 budget? Till it goes to finance and then on.
Yeah, when we meet finance next week, Monday starts, don't it? Yeah.
Motion to forward.
A motion is made to forward the proposed 2025 budget to finance. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Motion carried. Anything else, Tom?
No. I'm gonna hang around a little while. I'm not going to Ashland today for my emergency management. I'm gonna go on Zoom today. So I'm getting kinda used to Zoom. Rather than driving 2 hours to Ashland.
Okay. Monthly statistics. Let's see, in July, we had, 6 natural deaths, 1 suicide for a total of 7 deaths, 12 cremations, 7 hospice calls. I used 227 on-call hours. I was on vacation. And we had 1 donation call. Any questions about that?
Do you get all the ones from the Lions that I get? Lions?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
'Cause I usually have to send them a report.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. I was gonna ask you that last month because we had quite a few last month. I didn't have any this month.
yeah. Let's see. Requests for training, there are no requests. Discussion of any departmental issues. I know there's nothing I can do about this, but I just want to reiterate my unhappiness of having to move my office and actually about the way they went about it. I just came home from vacation and found out my office is gonna be given away. I don't know where I'm gonna put everything, if I need to go to one of those small offices. It's really handy where the office is now. In case I need supplies, I can go right in the door, right into the office, get the supplies. I'm sure Tom feels the same way, but I can't speak for him.
Well, he has spoken to us already.
Okay. But I'm just unhappy about, the way that it got handled, I guess. I just thought it was very unfair, not to like contact us, ask us, our thoughts, if we were willing to do it, just kind of being put out and not even knowing where we're gonna go, so.
Why are you moving and where are you going?
Property voted last month to move us out
Yeah.
and move Ashley in.
Yeah.
Ashley
And no
wasn't on
disrespect
the
to, and no disrespect to you, Ashley, I mean,
No, I
I don't hold anything,
don't think they were the ones that brought it up. Property was looking for a home for them. They went down
Yeah.
and looked at our office, I guess, they were gonna put them in UW. Something didn't work out there. Somebody screamed louder than we did, so then they moved them right down in our office. Did it at the meeting, never talked to me, never talked to her about what our needs would be until afterwards when I
So who's
raised
all
the
on?
stake. Terry and John and, who would go? You,
Rich is down there.
Ashley and Rich, right? Yeah,
yeah,
but there's actually 3 offices.
So what office are you gonna be in?
We don't know.
we don't know,
You don't know yet.
I don't think they voted on where they're gonna put us, they just voted to move us. right?
yeah. My big concern is if I get moved to like the 3rd floor and then I need supplies, I mean, how is that gonna work and affect? I mean, there's sometimes, I know I went into the van and, I should be more prepared, but I was out of tags for body bags. So I had to run back and get a tag, just to make sure that the body bag was sealed and for the law enforcement and, it was easy just to run in and get it and stuff, but if I have to run back and then, you know, that's my biggest concern, is go to the third
And
floor.
my EMTs are in and out
Yeah,
daily, nightly, 24 hours a day. If they need something, they can come in and get it. They
so
just come in the back door and right to the office. They don't
I don't,
walk through the building.
I love my job. I don't wanna make this a big issue where, you know, it's gonna affect my job. I just wanna, let everyone know that I wasn't happy the way it was done.
So is that the rumor or?
No, it's voted on.
Third
No,
floor.
I mean, the
Oh,
rumor-
no,
No.
I just don't wanna be put up there
Oh,
and,
okay.
yeah,
All right.
I'm
And
afraid.
and it
that's
doesn't matter where they put us at night, there's a gate
Yeah,
by the clerk's office, so
Right.
then we're gonna have to have a key to the gate to get in, and I have, if you've been in my office, I have tons of supplies in there. A whole office, the biggest office in there is all supplies for the EMTs. Where's all that gonna go? You know, you could have it in 4 different offices, I don't know. Not well thought through, to me.
So what, the three of you are taking over that complex then where Tom is now?
Apparently.
Oh, you don't know either?
No, it was voted on, they haven't talked to her either, I don't think, no?
When is this supposed to happen?
we don't know.
I think we ought to express our displeasure as a committee with this until they really think it out. It doesn't sound like there's a whole lot of thinking going on here.
I think that this is where the employee morale issue comes in, where they're just treated like dirt, it's like, which, you're just, you know, we're just gonna do this and we're not gonna talk to you? I don't understand that at all.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah, I mean,
They came through.
Everybody's sitting and talk about it.
And months ago, they made a tour looking for space. I mean, months ago. But they came through my office, I opened up the door, cause there's a door in my office that goes right through UW, and they went right through there, and away they went, and that's the last I heard of it. Until I heard that in the property meeting, they voted on moving us.
I just think that's terrible.
And actually, I went back to listen to the property meeting, and for some reason, Aaron, your tape it ended, cause I think they took a break, and then they must've came back and talked about it, and the tape wasn't started up again, right away. So it was right in there, in this broken part of the tape, so I'm not sure what all went on with
That's what
that,
they
but,
voted on.
yeah.
So, yeah, I would appreciate it if the committee would just talk to them about it. I talked to Terry about it, I talked to John about it, about my,
Well, if they don't even know the concept of the flow that's occurring now, how can they make a decision on it? I don't understand that.
You need to have employee involvement, that's 100%.
I mean, I'm willing to work something out, but just,
well, like Ashley
I'm
said,
afraid
it
of
was
just
a
getting put
safety
someplace
thing,
where
but then they're putting
it doesn't
Ashley
work
and
for me.
Ashley way down that hall where she could scream for a day down there, nobody'd ever hear her.
yeah.
You know, I told her when I came back to work and went back to my office, I said, hey, just slip down here a couple times a day, make sure I ain't dead, would you? Unless the EMTs come in, I don't see many people. Now, have you ever been to my office? I don't think so. Terry has, Phil has. Ashley comes down, I mean,
I might have been down there once.
yeah, maybe once you came in the wrong door there. Yeah, I might have been gone, yeah.
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 But I don't know, I think we ought to do something or express our
really-
displeasure.
Yeah, Tom really has all the stuff, I mean,
Yeah, other than the file cabinets, most of the stuff in that office is
Right.
ours, you know, the ambulances.
and I'm trying to make more room for him too, so.
That's the next thing on your agenda.
Yeah. So that's all I guess, I just
We'll
wanted to
probably meet again, Ashley,
bring that
a couple weeks, yeah. Terry would know, he's on there.
Don't blame the messenger.
Not blaming the messenger, we're just making facts.
So it was you.
We'll check the vote.
Yeah, that's right.
We've already had property.
For this month, yeah. I told him I was gonna chain myself to my desk and protest, and they'd have to lift me in. There ain't enough strong guys in maintenance to move me anymore, so.
The next property meeting is September 4th at 8 o'clock. They changed it. It's now gonna be the first Wednesday of the month.
Is it here? 'Cause every once in a while they have it
No,
over there,
yes,
over there.
here.
Here, okay,
At least
so far.
so far, yes.
Because there's an awful lot of unanswered questions in this.
And I talked to John about it, and I laid it all out for him, he said, well, right now we don't have a different option. I said, I do, I got drawings for a new building, we put right on that lot right across the road over there. That's where that ended, so.
Well, there's just a few people that are pushing that hard. Not everybody's in agreement with
Next.
that. Okay?
Okay.
Continue?
At the end of the meeting.
I was just gonna say, do you want a motion to go to property with this, or just,
I think we have to inform property ASAP that they haven't thought this out. I mean, you're gonna have EMTs running all over the courthouse to get stuff. And this whole big security thing is in their way.
And then you're handed out more
I would
keys.
make a motion that we ask property to reconsider it and talk to the people involved.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to reconsider any possible move and to talk to the people involved. Any further discussion?
I would think we should get that sent out right away to the property committee members.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Motion carried.
Or Terry, we don't mean to pick on you, but.
But, yeah, it's the but.
Okay, so I have two great big, filing cabinets full of old files, that need to be, I scan everything, put it in the computer, and then get saved to the Z drive. So I don't have any, I'm kinda like paperless, like any paper I have, or I just transfer it over to a file. We have two file cabinets full of, old files. I would like to know if I could get paid to scan them, or I could hire someone to come in and scan them. I'm not sure how long it's gonna take. I could maybe do so many hours, let you guys know how much I got done, for that.
How long are you responsible for them?
I have no idea, actually. That's something I could
Some of the
find
other
out.
ones are like 7 years, I think, for a lot of
That's
that.
county policy,
it's
yeah.
outlined in our ordinances.
Okay,
But
So-
for that stuff, it might be different, because with the ambulance files, like a minor, we have to keep files 7 years past their 18th birthday.
okay.
So, and luckily the state holds all our files now, so I don't have to worry.
I
just have to go through
will
it.
actually contact my, WCMEA, they would know, so I'll contact them, come back to you guys with that, let you guys know.
I thought I was gonna have somebody to help her, but my person isn't on workman's comp right now.
Yeah, I know, I thought I was gonna be able
That
to
fell
get some
through,
clean out,
yeah.
but.
That would've been a light duty job.
There's also one other, thing I kinda wanna slip in here to the, departmental issues is, Sherry Wallace is no longer, a deputy. So I really don't use, my deputies all that often, but except for my vacation, and, I know I'm gonna have a little bit of trouble this December. So I would kinda like to have somebody that, is willing to like, maybe do it a couple times a year, fill in. I do have someone in-house, a dispatcher. Ashley said that I could go to HR and maybe post it in-house. Would that be okay with you guys to refill that position?
Well, it's kinda hard if you get sick and Heidi's called into work.
Right, and then Doug, well, and the thing is Doug has to have an operation, right before I go on vacation, and of course Heidi has to work some, so we're trying to get that kinda squared away, and medication's kinda paid for.
Why don't you approach HR and
Okay,
take this into consideration?
okay.
Okay, motion has been made and seconded to approach HR about,
I think you'll have to explore options, cause I don't, anybody's gonna take this job for a couple times a year.
Yeah, and that's what I'm, yeah,
To do something.
I'm trying to like finagle and see if there's somebody around that maybe would kind of, I
Phil
don't
said he
know.
was interested.
sure, yeah, I'm just, like you said, I'd have to explore a couple options and see where it goes from there. Invoices,
We need a motion
oh, I'm sorry.
for the scanning of old files if she's.
Oh, I'm gonna come back and see how long I
That's
have
next
to,
month.
Okay.
She's gonna-
yeah, I'm gonna see how long I have to keep them, I guess.
Might be throwing half of them out,
Right, and that would save me a lot of time.
hopefully.
And then the current motion on the floor is to approach human resources about possible deputy for the medical examiner.
It's been made in second.
Okay, but we haven't voted yet.
Right.
Okay, any further discussion on that? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay, so I have, one invoice. They're coming though. On our, autopsies, we have to pay for the autopsy, then we have to pay for the doctor separate, so this is one of the doctor bills.
Where's River Valley?
I have no idea, but those pathologists work at Ramsey County, so I don't know if it's just the name of,
Their group.
yeah, their group or something, but yeah.
So this is the doctor's bill then?
Yeah, we have like the autopsy bill and then the doctor's bill. Kinda like when you go in for surgery, you think you paid the bill and then the anesthesiologist sends you on.
You went back to work and, I read the x-ray, sends you a bill.
Yeah.
So you go to work.
Motion to approve the bill.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve payment of the medical examiner bill.
Okay.
All those, any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried.
The one attached next, Miranda, is my current budget, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we have 69% left, of the budget. The only thing that I would be concerned about is the autopsies. We had, not a lot of, I didn't think a lot of, cases, but a lot of weird cases. Just strange ones where we needed help figuring out why a person died, so a little more, autopsies than I expected so far.
That's good history.
Yeah. It, you never know, it's a crapshoot, so.
Can't ban people from dying.
Right. You can't make me any smarter, so, yeah, so that's the only line I would really worry about, but I think there's still plenty of, room in the budget if that goes over. Any questions on the current budget?
Well, we had talked about this before under the on-call paid per
Oh,
diem. They just
yes, did
switched
she
the
fix
lines
that?
around.
She did, yep. She fixed it, I've talked to her about it.
Any further questions on that? The 2024 budget?
Oh, you know what, now that you brought that up, I'm looking here, on-call pay, there's nothing in there for year to date, and of course I did use some hours. So I'm gonna have to go back and.
Well, it's really between, 140 and 141, it's just switching
Right.
back and forth. I mean, overall, you're under, so
Right.
it's just reclassifying the
Right,
expense line items, so.
Doesn't change the bottom line.
no, it doesn't, but I just noticed that again, so.
Okay, any other questions?
was, instead of 6 autopsies a year, I put down for 8. Just to be on the safe side, and I think otherwise everything stayed pretty much the same.
So is the levy the same too?
It's,
Was 72? So 72, 460, no.
no, cause I added 2 more autopsies,
Oh, I
that's
see.
about
Okay.
4,000,
Gotcha.
a little over 4 maybe. Oh, and I think this will even out in the end, but Jamie had me lower, my cremation fees. She said, oh, it doesn't look good, but it kinda runs, I mean, it takes so long for a couple months for all those fees to get in, because it's like at the end of the month, then you bill them, then it takes 30 days, then, you know, so. But I think it'll hit the 7,500, but we'll see at the end of the year. But otherwise, there's no really big changes except for that, the 2 extra autopsies. Yeah, safe side. Anybody have any questions?
So you want a motion to forward this to finance then?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, motion's been made, seconded to forward the 2025 budget to finance. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Motion carried. Anything else?
No, I think the last sheet I had on there was pretty much, I did the monthly training, through, the Death Investigation Academy online. And it was investigating suicide and self-harm deaths. Attended department head meeting and emergency services meeting, and that's it.
Anything else?
Nope, that's it, okay, unless anyone has any questions for me.
Saves a lot of money.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yep, thanks. And Ashley, I don't need any disrespect when I talk about move, just 'cause.
Sounds like you was in shock about it, everybody else.
Well, I just don't want you to feel like I'm asking you, I'm just unhappy with the whole situation, so. Thank you.
Cheers.
Good morning. So for July, our ADP was 20. Nobody on electronic monitoring, and we housed 13 inmates in Chittenden County. For the month of July.
Just a quick question, those, how much transfers have we been doing, or been pretty good with getting them down there and they don't have to do back and forth, back and forth? I know you said you're trying to do that, but.
Yeah, we've been pretty lucky that these 3 months that there haven't been a whole lot of transports back and forth. I think there have been 1 or 2 for court, back and forth, and I don't know if there's been any medical transports on those inmates down there. We have had a couple from here. You'll see in the bills, we had one from here, but I don't know if we've had to move a lot of them down there.
What George has been trying to do is people who've been sentenced go to Chippewa.
Okay.
If we can do it that way, so that we know they don't have to be.
Okay, well,
Yeah, they don't have much court.
just wondering how that was working out. This is,
We've lucked out so far. Upcoming training, Miranda's gonna go to a civil process training. Tuma and Olson are going to the annual CIB conference. Deputy Anderson,
Maybe, since we do have a couple of members, maybe explain your alphabet.
CIB. CIB can stand for a lot of things, but in this meeting, it stands for Crime Information Bureau. It's a branch of DOJ, Department of Justice. They take care of all the, CIB takes care of the time system, how we run all of our license plates, driver's licenses, warrants, all that kind of stuff. Deputy Anderson's going to FTO school, field training officer, so we can have, a night shift FTO. We currently don't have anyone on nights that's an FTO. So that'll help out a lot. Deputy Neal is not going to the crime scene processing in Waukesha because he's unsure when he's gonna have his baby. So, he's not going.
Things pop up or pop out.
She could go any days.
Nancy's, going to the Victims of Crime Conference in Appleton. And then Fenstermacher, we bought a pepper ball gun. We currently have less lethal shotguns that keep the beanbag rounds. A lot of departments throughout the country are moving away from the less lethal shotguns and going to the pepper ball guns. So we bought a pepper ball gun for our ERT team. You need an instructor if you're gonna use that, so we're sending Deputy Fenstermacher to that instructor course. He is on ERT, and we're going to maybe look at the idea in the future of maybe starting to transition out some less lethal shotguns and go with the pepper ball guns. It's just a topic that's been brought up in the National Tactical Officers Association in Wisconsin. The departments are moving away from less lethal shotguns and going to pepper ball guns.
What exactly is
Pepper ball gun, so it's like a paintball gun, but it shoots out a paintball that's filled with pepper spray. Yep. So you don't need a direct hit on somebody for it to work. Like if you're in your car and your window's down, I can shoot this into your car and it can hit the inside of a window and it's gonna fill your car with pepper spray. Same with a room, I can shoot the wall next to you and it's going to explode and contaminate you. So it's just a topic that was brought up through casual conversation that we might be exploring that, but ERT definitely needed one, and Fenstermacher was on board for going to that training, one instructor. Number 6, monthly
We
meetings.
need a
Motion for out-of-town travel.
Okay, the approval for Miranda totals $50. The CIB is $1,270. FTO school was previously, so the cost estimate remains the same, so we've already approved that one, but this is a different date. Victims of crime thing, there's no toll, but that's all reimbursed through the grant. And then David Fenstermacher, play with pepper ball, $636. So those are need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
The motion's been made, and seconded to approve the Southern County travel request. Further discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Motion carried.
Okay, number 6, monthly meetings that have been attended, it's now admin county board and radio project meeting. The radio project is moving forward. Equipment has been ordered, however, it takes months to get that stuff fulfilled, so. We have weekly meetings on that. Down to calls for service. Does anyone need any explanation on 2024 calls for service so far?
Well, you said last time, one big thing here, assault in Rusk County going up.
Tons. I just got an email yesterday from a therapist from Wausau that wants to report another one. The victim is in her 40s and it happened during her childhood. So, we get a lot of sexual assault.
Well, that would be related somewhat to domestic violence.
Could be, might not be.
No.
No explanation for calls for service. And then next is our overtime. Through July of 24. Kind of staggering.
Is that just cause you're down officer?
Yeah, when we're short, we gotta fill shifts overtime. I just did the September overtime, September schedule and overtime postings. It's been the lowest one we've had all year. Because one of our newest deputies, Deputy Hayter, should be done in FTO next week. He'll be on his own the second half of August. That will allow us to put him into that open 5P shift starting second half of August. So that'll take care right there of 16 overtime shifts a month.
Yep.
Any questions on that? And the next page is all the money the jail has raised.
What is the rate that you charge
We're not housing for other counties
Oh, that's
because we can't give them off our own, so they
These
can't
are
house for
DOC
other
laws.
counties. Yeah. So this is just for the state.
So that's 5146, those are all probation warrants or probation holds, probation revocations. Any questions on the jail housing? Okay. Next couple pages are the bills. Anybody have any questions about the bills?
You can tell that the state family restroom bill is going down to fewer. We should be coming up.
It would be cheaper to have them here.
And you're ready transport. Okay, any questions on those?
No questions at all? You guys wanna jack me up about something?
Well. Buy a lot of stuff from Amazon.
Yeah.
It's usually the cheapest place we can get it.
We actually, even when we hire new people, a lot of times, Ann and I will sit down as far as equipment and all that kind of stuff, and we'll compare prices from Amazon to Gulls. Sometimes at Gulls, you can't get it for 4 to 6 weeks, but go to Amazon, and it's $4 to $10 cheaper, and you can get it in 3 days.
Yep.
If there aren't any questions, I need a motion to approve the bills.
So.
The motion has been made and seconded to approve the bill. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, all here?
I think you know the answers.
16,000 a month. More than anticipated. Plus overtime. 25,000 a month more than anticipated.
We are now on patrol. I'm hoping to be full staffed, like totally full staffed before hunting season, before gun season. Deputy Hayter will be off FTO next week. Deputy Price will be done with the academy and off of FTO at the same time, October 11th. And then Deputy Zimmer starts this Friday. He's in the part-time academy, so he'll be FTOing during the week, in the academy on the weekends for a month and a half. Then he'll be on the academy. I'm hoping he is done with FTO by that second week in November. Then we'll have to have a promotional process to move somebody from patrol into that open drug investigator spot. Which will happen in October.
That's a good candidate to move.
I think we have two, yep, that I think are interested. So we'll have to do that promotional process before Deputy Zimmer is in phase 3 of FTO, because otherwise he won't have a squad car.
Unless you want us to.
So there'll just be a little bit of planning and moving around in October-ish, November.
So it might be lessening a little bit, a couple months anyway.
Yeah. Yep.
For patrol, definitely for the jail, hopefully.
We had a meeting.
Overtime.
Yeah, the jail is still gonna be a large issue, but patrol, hopefully we're gonna take care of a lot of that. We had a discussion yesterday. Obviously, Deputy Hayter's gonna be off FTO next week. He'll move into that 5P slot. But then very shortly after that, Deputy Neal's going on paternity leave, which will open a 5A shift. So we talked about how we're gonna try to work that, so there's only 2 weeks of overtime for Deputy Neal instead of 6. So, hopefully we can get that figured out.
Okay, any other questions for the current budget? Okay, and this is the proposed budget.
For 25. Now I'll let Miranda, if you're good with that, yeah.
Everything that we could keep the same, I tried to keep everything as low as we could, knowing what is happening with the jail and just kind of some unknowns, so I tried to keep everything as close to the past as we could,
There was only a couple things we raised, wasn't there?
not really anything in the sheriff's budget, but in the jail
Yeah.
budget.
So what's the bottom line there?
This confidential funds, or do you want all the way at the bottom?
All the way to the bottom.
Where did all the levy targets come from? Came up with those.
I believe that would be finance. I would target our levy much higher than this.
Jamie's trying to fit all these pieces together and within the limits, and it's gotta be a lot of work on that. Everything's way over. That's my understanding. Question operations.
It's a shared budget, go to the jail, this might. Some more questions?
Prisoner medical, do we recoup any of that or not? Didn't wanna think it, but that's what I thought.
And that is, a locked-in contract with Advanced Correctional Healthcare.
Well, that's the new contract that, and all of that stuff
Yep.
that we talked about a couple months ago.
Yeah, and we did put out RFPs to different vendors, but they still came in at the
Both of them went up.
lowest.
Cause they switched the nurses or something instead of.
Yep, exactly.
Southern NEC for hire, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
much higher. And we would have had to pay for prescription medications, where in this it's just included.
Meals and medical.
Housing.
The out-of-county housing, how we came to that number was, right now we're housing in Chippewa County, they charge $59 per day for each inmate. So if we keep with 13 inmates housed out of county, $59 per day for 13 inmates for 30 days of the month. So just try to get that as close as possible.
And that's the cheapest rate,
Yeah.
so if one becomes an issue, they could raise it to whatever they want.
And the out-of-county transfers, obviously that increased as well. I kind of just looked at what our previous ready transport bills have been, they run around $3,500, cited $3,500 per month for a year. And prisoner meals is estimated, I think we did 19 inmates, $7 per meal, so $21 a day.
Not cheap.
People should just stop
So
getting
we're
hammered.
quite a bit over the target.
Quit breaking the law, Dana.
Any questions?
You got some more budgets yet?
Yeah. Water patrol, most of the rest of
All
these,
those are low.
yeah,
Little ones, yeah.
just our little ones, yep. And they've stayed the same as what they've been in the past, besides maybe some increases for wages. Hopefully this year we get snow so that we get a reimbursement.
Say you didn't spend much on.
No.
Yeah, and so-
Trails are never open.
And with that, then we don't get any reimbursement for that grant, so.
We will probably have talks in 2025 about adding another canine potentially, because we only have one now.
But it would probably be until 2026.
Yeah. Might start talking about next year.
Only the two before.
These blue font lines are now irrelevant for the county budget. That was our, like Pork in the Park fundraiser ERT money, which is now in its own account.
We had 3, Terry, for a little while. Then 2 of our handlers left.
This is Edge Materials. I got nothing really changes there besides wages for Bert. witness coordinator budget. I did make a change here for office supplies. In the past, it's always been budgeted for 5,000, knocked that down to 2,500. And increased computer equipment, or kept it the same, I should say. There is a live feed computer device that Nancy is looking into, so wanted to keep that the same.
Wasn't there something with her grant funding, did that come through, or did that not?
She has not been notified yet of her specific grant. She did apply for a supplemental grant and was denied that.
So what happens then? I mean, so her original, the original grant amount is what's figured in here now, but that could be less than what had
Yeah.
really been.
Yep. And correct me if I'm wrong, because this was before my time. Nancy's position within the sheriff's office was intended so that she could be full-time. But we're the only county in the state of Wisconsin that has a victim witness coordinator under the sheriff. Otherwise, typically it's just with the DA. So if we are not going to get the grant, I'm not sure what that will look like for the sheriff's budget, if she will be accommodated full-time under the DA's office, or if we'll somehow need to work that into our budget so that we can still keep her in the sheriff's office, but we won't get that grant money. So, well, kind of some unknowns there. Did I word that correctly?
Yep.
Okay. This is all zeros. Our math stuff. Hopefully, once we get a drug investigator, we see some. This is just our bills for our 911 calls. Is all donated money. Project Lifesavers, funded by donations.
Brian and I talked about this yesterday, nobody uses that. And I don't know why, because there are several people in our county who could benefit from that. And we've put it out there, it's on the website, that hey, we have this program, but nobody ever wants to take advantage of it.
I think people who could benefit from it maybe can't afford it, is my thought. I don't know.
What is it?
Project Lifesaver, it's a program where when an individual has, whether it's cognitive disabilities or what have you, and they oftentimes elope from their house, we have a bracelet that we can put on them, and people train in our department to track them and find them if they do wander off.
But there's a cost of them, obviously.
Yeah, but
I think it's like $100 or $50 a month.
yeah, it's not a lot. No.
Should maybe that be a two-pronged approach through behavioral health and the police department to get to the families involved in this?
Well, and we've put it on social media, a couple
It's on-
different times,
Yeah,
it's on the
our
website. We have people training it, but nobody ever wants to come and sign a logo on for it. So,
Is there a way that families that might be able to use this, does Human Services have connection with them at all, or no?
I don't know if they have caseworkers, I'm not sure.
We could maybe on our part reach out to Health and Human Services
Chris, real quick.
Yeah.
I
and make
mean,
sure
it's a
they're.
program that you guys would appreciate being used.
Well, and we could have used it several times
Yeah,
over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
And this is the jail maintenance budget, any repairs for the Sallyport or upstairs